If you've watched Dragon Ball Z, did you ever wonder why Goku kept facing opponents that were always a little bit stronger than him? I only realized this retrospectively, and I've watched Dragon Ball Z a while ago, kind of recently, and I didn't watch the original show. I actually watched Dragon Ball Z abridged, which I can't even watch the original show anymore, and if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, you have to watch Dragon Ball Z abridged. It's actually a masterpiece on YouTube. If you don't know what abridged show is, it's literally when they dub over the original anime and they make it so much more funny and dark, and it's truly a masterpiece. They actually almost created better character development in some ways. But anyways, when Goku was going through this story, he always faced an opponent who was stronger than him at that point, and he overcame that barrier, whether it was the Vegeta saga, the Frieza saga, Cell saga, like every single time, and maybe Cell was a bit iffy, but the Buu saga, everything. When it came to Super, when he was in these tournaments, when he kept facing these different opponents like Jiren, like I don't even remember their names anymore, but it was always the case that he would set himself up to face an opponent stronger than him. I just took it for granted what he was doing, but there wasn't a time that he just chose a challenge that was easy for him. He never chose to fight an opponent who was equal to him. He always, one, was facing an opponent better than him, and two, he always surrounded himself by stronger people, even if they weren't enemies. For example, Vegeta. For example, Beerus, a literal god he had next to him, asking him to train him, and Whis, always asking these people to train him, to, make him better, because he registered that these guys are much better than me, and I know that if I'm surrounded by them, I will get stronger. And he never, had this idea that, no, I want to be in a situation where I'm the one dominating, where I'm the one who's on top of this hierarchy. No, he's always lower in the hierarchy of these situations. So how does this apply to our real life? Well, recently I moved to San Francisco. I'm running the marketing for this startup, and everyone around me at this company is better than me. He's just higher skilled than me. I'm not going to lie, and maybe not in exactly the same things for some of the engineers here, but one guy in particular, he's much better than me at marketing. He's better at running these campaigns, at, doing this company. And obviously it's his company. He's a CEO, so he's really good at this thing, but it's just so interesting to me to be in an environment where I'm around a guy like this for 50 hours versus a different environment where I'm the fucking top dog. I'm the guy who knows it and everyone around me is learning from me. These are two very drastically different situations, right? And I almost think that it might be more comfortable and validating to be around people who are worse than you at whatever skill you're in, whether it's a sport, whether it's a skill, whether you're in a job, whether you're starting a business. It might be more validating to be the one making the most money or the one who's the best at the skill, because when you teach people, it's almost you're registering that you're better than them, and that kind of relationship feels good sometimes, right? But that's how you stay stuck, because you won't grow. Because you don't even know what's better than your current skill. You'll just be happy in this little relationship. And what's funny is those people below you will probably get better than you, because they're the ones who are benefiting from being around someone much better than them. So what you need to do is you have to be like Goku. You have to constantly, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's not the most validating, pleasurable experience, you have to be around people who are better than you at the skill that you're trying to get better at, and people who are just ahead of you. And those guys, it might seem like they're very far away, these mentors, these people who are ethereal in the way that they're better at skills. But in reality, that's just a belief you have. And I had this belief for most of my life. In reality, those guys love the type of person who wants to learn, is hardworking, doesn't have an ego, and will literally take blind action based on their advice. And I've gone through a couple mentors now, and I know for the rest of my life I'm going to have hundreds more. And in all of these situations, my goals are to not have an ego and always just be worse at them at the thing. And if I ever get better at them, I'm going to seek out someone else who's even better, so that I'm always in that situation. Because yes, it's not the most pleasurable thing, but if you're in self-improvement, if you're trying to become the best version of yourself, you're not chasing hedonism. You're not chasing pleasure. You're chasing being in an environment where you're learning as much as possible, That's what the type of people we are. We're type of people who want to learn as much as possible to, like give into our inner curiosities. And no, that is not a comfortable process. That can be sometimes kind of hard. But if you really enjoy the process, if you get really into it and you start to crave learning more, you start to crave, breaking your comfort zone, breaking these layers, that's when you benefit from being in these relationships. So you have to be like Goku. And there's other things here too. He was losing a lot. He was surrounding himself with people, but overall, bro evolved over the course of his lifetime. How amazing is that? Do you really want to be in exactly the same place you are now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now? No. If we're being honest, you probably want to be a fundamentally different person. You want to be more mature. You want to have all of these skills. You want to keep changing, which sounds, negative in a way, like, I don't want to change. I want to love myself. I want to love who I am right now. That sounds really good on paper, but let's play that out, right? You're exactly the same person with the same skills, the same capabilities, the same value you're able to give to society 30 years from now. That sounds depressing. That sounds like you did nothing for 30 years. Instead of that, let's always keep a vision of growth, of more skills, of pursuing these uncomfortable situations where we keep evolving and shedding ourselves, shedding our identity, shedding our skin. Because you go through that process, then you will always be providing more value to other people. You'll always be helping more people, and you yourself will just be constantly evolving, just like Goku. Just think about his progress as a kid in Dragon Ball to literally Dragon Ball Super, the end of it, the Ultra Instinct transformation. That's what we want in ourselves, is to continue doing that, because after he got that state that was above the state of the gods, he still wants more. You know that this man isn't settled, that he's not satisfied. So that's the type of belief system that I think is very useful for a lot of people, and most people around us they'll be against that. They'll be telling you like, no, you're not loving yourself, you're not being that. But I don't know. This is the best mental health I've been in, the most satisfied I've been with how I've spent my life has 100% been in these places where I'm just growing as much as possible. And maybe it's not as intrinsically pleasurable as taking drugs, as drinking all the time, as going and fucking off, but damn, it's more satisfying and fulfilling. That's at least the choice and conclusion I've come to so far. And follow up on my channel and see if my opinions have changed. I'd love to have you keep me accountable to this, because, I believe in this right now, and maybe in the future I'll change. I'll shed my identity and have a new belief system. Who knows? But in general, thank you so much for watching this video. Let's try to be like Goku. And if you want to watch more of these videos, go down, hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. If you want to keep on your learning binge, watch this next video.